Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Transformers Studio Series TF1 Deluxe Class Starscream. You can see him there in front of his box. We'll put him off the side real quick and take a look at that box. You've got, of course, you got the box with Transformers logo, the blue Studio Series band and everything. You got Transformers 1 right there, Hasbro, and of course, picture of both robot and vehicle mode right there, 30 steps. On the top here, you have Transformers 1 and Starscream and a bunch of gunk that came with the box. Takara Tomy right there. You have, again, there's Starscream right there in his robot mode, although it's mirrored. On the Halo continuation, the Starscream artwork and some stuff right there, including that throne he was sitting on in the Halo Deluxe class. On the bottom here, some manufacturing details and what's included. And on the back, of course, you have some copyrights and warnings and product shots. And right here, a little screen cap of the movie and a little thing that says, Starscream leads High Guard fighting corruption from the shadows. Yeah. Did a real good job of that. And of course, you have included, which is the Transformer, the instructions, which are decent. There's definitely a couple of parts which, thanks to the way it's designed, is a little. It's like, wait, what? And it's like, oh, okay, it kind of doesn't make sense because it looks like the thing works one way, but it actually works a different way. But regardless, it's not too difficult to figure out. But yeah, here's Starscream. Yeah, getting in close here. Closer. See, the face is kind of. This is a big point of contention. The face looks, well, wrong. I mean, in person, it doesn't look horrible, but it's definitely not right, and I wish they did a better job with his face, because it just looks weird. It just looks kind of, yeah, it doesn't look right. I mean, looking in the box and everything, compared to looking at the art, the artwork in the box, which is a render from the movie. You compare it to this, it's just, the face just doesn't look right, and it's a little disappointing. So yeah, almost certainly there's going to be a market, just a huge market of replacement heads for this guy. Of course, you got the more kind of the warmer gray that they've been doing with the Transformers 1 guys. It seems this is here to stay. People have been complaining about it since Studio Series Optimus showed up, and yeah, it looks like that's not going to change. A lot of people would prefer cooler grays, but they're using these warm grays instead. But you got this red going down. You got this orange right here for the cockpit. You got the blue on the forearms. You got also on the shins and feet, and all the things. Of course, he's got a Seeker backpack, which of course is the usual stuff. Yeah, my thing is, looks-wise, other than the face, he looks good. It's just the face looks just wrong, and that can really ruin it for a lot of people. So, yeah, that's a bit of a disappointment on the face. Just it's a really big disappointment now. As for articulation, it's also kind of a bit of a disappointment. Ball-jointed head, though, which is nice. So you got left and right, up and down, waggle, all that stuff. Shoulders do technically a full 360, although the wings get in the way of that. The wings, of course, there's a hinge. You can see there's a hinge right here, and there's a ball joint right here, so you can adjust those how you like. To have them, if you want them sitting differently or whatever. So you got that. These shoulder pads can also move adjusted a little bit. So if you want them, the shoulder pads to kind of angle out or whatever, you can have that. The arms also go out like this. There's a bicep swivel right here, right below, above the elbow. There's an elbow joint right there. You got a pretty decent curl. Nothing at the wrists. No waist because of how it transforms. That makes sense. That's perfectly acceptable in my opinion. That no waist because of how he transforms. So it's kind of stinks, but it's not horrible. Hips can go real high. You can see there's some real high kicks there, which is nice. Goes back only that far because of, again, there's a backpack there. Outward you do have only about that much. Again, wish it could have gone a little bit further. You got a thigh swivel right there. Knees have a nice deep bend, thanks in part to transformation. Down here at the feet, though, there's no ankle tilt, which sucks a bit. I can see kind of why. But still disappointing there's like nothing down here. So you can see it's molded in an A stance, but there's nothing down here like whatsoever. I mean, you kind of have a toe joint that goes down and you can have the heel go up a little bit, but yeah, really not much going on down there, which kind of stinks. Also, if you look, his head kind of sits a little forward compared to his shoulder line, so that's a little odd looking. Kind of looks like he's a little hunched over if you look at him if you have the head positioned wrong or something. But he does have a couple accessories, namely, of course, hey, look, there's some null rays right there. They're both the same, and you can peg them into the shoulders right there, like that, and like that. There's that. It also comes with these things, which I guess they're both supposed to be guns. I mean, this is obviously a gun. It's a weird looking gun. It's had a multi-barreled cannon thing, which it says you can hold it, which he can with that little tab thing, which kind of goes in his hand. Yeah, it's weird. It says he can hold it, but it doesn't do a very good job of holding it. It's like, it kind of is like you're forcing it in. It doesn't look great. It looks weird as a gun. And this is also can be a gun. It's supposed to, peg in his hand like that, sort of. But like, again, because of how it's molded, it kind of looks weird. So you get this weird looking thing you do with, and then The other thing is you can take these guys and combine them. There's this tab right here. There's a slot right here. You just do that. And then I have a still weird looking gun. It just kind of looks weird. If anything, it actually looks more like a tool, not a gun. You know, like a little, like a Star Trek-y, like, I don't know, scanny tool or something. Or a drill, or, yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, it's weird look. I don't like putting it in his hand. It just looks weird. So that's the thing. It was like, yeah, you can just, of course, you can just, peg it back here as storage. So there you go with that. So that I prefer just kind of storing it back there because it just doesn't look good in his hand. So it's like, although it's necessary for transformation, so you can't just get rid of it. So, but yeah, that's overall. The robot mode is overall, I think, overall looks pretty good. It's just the face is kind of bad, and the articulation is a little disappointing. And these guns just kind of don't look good as handguns. These are fine though. Also, to notice if you look, these shoulder bits are on hinges, and they kind of look a little warped, which is interesting. That's right out of the box looking like that. But yeah. So comparison stuff. Yeah. The Transformers 1 guys. Here's Bumblebee. Give an idea there. There's Bumblebee. There's Optimus, who does not want to stand straight right now. Of course, Megatron. Yep. And your Sentinel Prime. So there you go. Yeah. Yeah, again, like I said, not too bad overall, but yeah, just the face is a disappointment, and the articulation, there's articulation limitations are also a disappointment. You can also do this with this knees. I forgot they can kind of go back a little bit more. So you can do that kind of, do that sort of thing. Which actually doesn't look bad, but yeah. So, that's it for the robot mode, so go ahead and get them transformed, okay, so you can leave these bits on, although you might want to remove them. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. You can't leave them on, but they can get in the way if you do so. So just be aware of that. But yeah, you will have to remove those and also separate them for the transformation. So we'll go ahead and put all that stuff off to the side. Now, from there, what you want to do on the wings back here, what you want to do is bring them back and then also rotate these around like this. Just kind of get those kind of out of the way a bit like that. And then, yeah, rotate this around and then kind of bring them out like that. They look like that, and then untab these red bits right here from the backpack, so you can pull this bit down right there. So that gets all that ready to go. And right here, the head, you want to untab that by pulling that up right there on that hinge. And then right here, you want to untab the chest piece like that, bring it up, and unfold this. And then right here, what you want to do is there's a hinge in here, which so you can see that you can bring this down a bit. So you can then bring this up and out like this, and bring this down right here. Bring this up right here, and they'll bring up like that, and then bring this out. And this is on double hinge. You want to make sure to bring it up on this hinge first, so it looks like this, and then bring it up, or else it'll kind of catch on itself. And you can take this on this hinge and bring it up right there like that, and it'll fold up like there. And then right here, you can see there's tabs, which will go in these little slots right here like that. And then you push the head in like that, and then you just go ahead and close this up like that, right there. That's all done. So from here, what you want to do, this is a little annoying. Okay, so what you want to do is go ahead and open up these blue flaps right here. You're going to open them like this. And then you want to go ahead and bring the legs forward like this. And you see these tabs right here on the back of the hips are going to go in little slots right in there in the shins, if you see that. Make sure these blue plates right here go between the arm and the torso like this. They're going to kind of snug, going to want to get them, going to just sneak them in between there when you're folding these up. So, yeah, just kind of sneak them in between like that. And then, tab the hips into the shins like that, and you'll tab the right there, this tab right, and there's a tab and slot right there, which will tab the legs together. And you bring up the heels, untab those, and then they'll tab in right here like so, and like so. You take the toes here and rotate them up, and they'll tab into the back right there like that to the back of the jet. And then right here, what you'll want to do, go ahead and make sure to bring up these blue pieces right here and make sure they are as far in as they can go. And then right here, you want to go ahead and take the arms. There's little tabs on the inside of the forearms. There's little slots on the hinge. And just tab those in right there like that. Now here, what you want to do is bring these shoulder bits up like this. And then right here, there's a hinge right here. And you'll want to see this. You want to rotate this part like that, and this part also like that. At this point, if you decided to remove them, this is when you re-peg in the null rays right here, like this. And this is the kind of the annoying bit. You got to take this blue bit, this blue gun guy. You see these tabs? There's a bunch of slots right here. What you want to do is, yeah, you want to bring this up right here. You want to see this tab right here will go into the other side. This slot right here. You see that? So you'll line up like this. Either side really doesn't really matter. You just do that, and you bring these in at the same time because this tab is going to go in between these tabs, and this is going to kind of feed up. And you have to kind of clear this, kind of push it down a little bit so it can clear the bottom of the jet, and then bring them together, and they'll tab together in the center, and just kind of sit like that, more or less. And those should just sit nice and solid there in the center, like so, like that. And that's gotta sit like there. And this thing you have to kind of push it. Yeah, you have to push the blue gun past the bottom of the jet there because it's a little annoying. But yeah. So then coming back up here, what you want to do here is then kind of bring these wings down a bit so you can. I want to bring these wings down a bit. And there's also another thing. You see this thing right here. There's a little bit right there that clips onto the black piece. This is the part that's gonna be a little tricky because how it looks makes you look like you might be doing something wrong. Push that down so it clips in like that, and this right here is going to tab in to the side of that, and then you're going to fold this out like this. Make sure that stays tabbed in. Fold this out down like that. And the same thing here. Bring this in. You know, push this part in down so it tabs in. Bring this up, and then right here, this tab will go into that little slot right there. You can see that. And unfold this wing and bring it down and make sure this stays tabbed in. It's not its most secure connection right there, and you have to move it down like that so the wings look more or less like that, right? And then these bits right here, you want to rotate them backwards, like so. So this bit right here, this will line up with that slot. This is what confused me initially. This will line up with that little slot, but won't go in that little slot. Looks like something changed at some point because that's clearly the slot there for that tab because it does fit. But if you do that, this will not sit properly. This right here will not sit properly. So it's kind of weird. So yeah, that tab does not go in that slot like it looks like it does because that will make this whole wing sit wrong. Then you rotate this up, and there's a slot right here with this tab right here on the bottom of this red piece will just slide right into it like that. Again, same thing. Rotate this bit around like this so that lines up, and then just rotate the red piece up like that, and that will slot in right so. I'm gonna put this down and bring this down a bit. And then the final thing you do is take this right here and just peg it in the back like this, and that brings forms the top of the jet, and there you go. That's Starscream in his jet mode. Yeah, after that transformation, which it's actually kind of surprising and complex for deluxe. Again, also there's some confusing bits. Like I said, these bits right here, it's really easy to do that wrong if you're not totally paying attention because it looks like it's supposed to go one way. But yeah, you get this jet, which is not too bad, honestly. I feel like I like this jet. I know apparently a lot of people were not really a big fan of this thing, but I kind of like it. I mean, yeah, you got his legs just kind of chilling out underneath, but like what jet former doesn't anymore, honestly. Yeah, I think it's just a somewhat clever thing. The only thing, yeah, the hands are just kind of chilling out right there. Yeah, that's a little bit of a nuisance. I wish they kind of folded up or something, but it's a deluxe, that's the budget as it is. But yeah, a lot of the budget went to the things which are, pretty neat. I do like how the chest, for example, I like the whole mechanism with how the chest works. It's like it took something that could have been really simple and actually made it a lot more complex. Yeah, there's some parts for me, namely this, the top fin thing right here, and of course the guns and this gun right here. But I don't think it's not too bad considering all that stuff does become weapons. So the parts forming-ish thing is, I think, mitigated by the fact that, again, they become weapons. Again, the boosters work is pretty cool and everything. Yeah, I generally like the general look of this jet as well. I just like the way the wings look and everything. It kind of is, again, very similar to the Bumblebee movie kind of thing with the kind of downturned wing thing. Yeah, I do like how this looks, and I do know apparently the Thundercracker and Skywarp are different enough that they're going to look different. So I might have to get those guys as well. So yeah, they pretty much very much at this point made it clear that they're going to do them and they're going to be different, and yeah, they're not going to be just straight repaint. So yeah, but yeah, generally I think it looks really good like this, and yeah, my only real complaint would be getting to this mode is just simply this part right here can be confusing because yeah, it looks like these are, it looks like maybe it was the case at one point, which yeah, that these were supposed to tab in right there because these tabs feel like extraneous, you know, like they at this point because like yeah, there's the slots and everything just for that these tabs fit perfectly in, but if you do that, the problem is you'll see you have to lift this whole assembly up right here, and this unclips this part, which then this will not. You see that you can see. This no longer sits flush. So yeah, that's the problem. So yeah, that, and I looked at the instructions and everything and the pictures and the instructions. Yeah, these are not tabbed in. So just so you're aware of that. So before you're trying to come at me saying I did it wrong, I'm doing it right. But yeah, I think it's generally a nice looking jet. Some people may disagree on that, but I like how the jet looks overall. Yeah, it's got the legs and arms chilling out underneath, but pretty much every jet former at this point does, so like I'm kind of okay with it. So yeah, I think and transformation is clever enough that I rather enjoy it too. I rather enjoy it once you get past the hurdle figuring out this stupid thing with the wings and the tabs and everything. But yeah, so yeah, I think generally I think it looks pretty good. So again, some comparison stuff. Yeah, again, there's Bumblebee, Transformers 1 Bumblebee. There. Transformers 1 Optimus. Right there. Transformers 1 Megatron, because of course, right there. So, and Transformers 1 Sentinel Prime. Oop, swing came unclipped. There we go. Yeah, the two flyers. Yeah, he's definitely obviously bigger because he's a Voyager, and again, yeah, that came down. But yeah, he's obviously, because he's a Voyager, he's a bit bigger. But yeah, you know, generally these do look aesthetically pretty similar to each other in such a way that they look like they came from the same planet, I guess. So there's that. So overall, Transformers 1 Starscream here. I think he's decent. He's he's definitely a stronger figure than I would say Megatron. He's definitely a stronger figure than Megatron. I think he's about on equal footing with like Optimus in that there's definitely some compromises, but I think they don't really completely tarnish the figure. Again, his posability is a bit compromised due to how he transforms in his design. So, you know, no waist swivel, no ankle tilts. The big other thing is just simply his face is just bad. Like, there's no excuse for that. I'm not sure what happened there. Particularly since the movie came out so long ago, you'd think that they'd have plenty of lead time, you know, to, you know, fix the face. But nope, it's just bad looking. It's a very poor translation of what was on screen, which is interesting considering, you know, since it's on screen is 3D, you know, you think that there'd be some, I don't know. So yeah, we're going to replacement heads like crazy, so don't worry about, I've already seen some, so don't worry about that if that's your biggest problem with it. The transformation is, again, pretty clever. I like some parts of it. There's definitely some parts which are a little more difficult to figure out just because it looks like you're supposed to be two different opposing things at once, but it's basically the tab right there, right here, that tab right there, just ignore that. Doesn't do anything. It looks like that was something changed. It just looks like it's a leftover piece from old engineering or something. That's what, honestly. And I personally think the jet mode is pretty solid. It's not the best. It's, again, kind of a Cybertronian jet thing, which is aerodynamically questionable, but I think it looks good, personally, overall. So, you know, you may disagree. And again, it's a deluxe, so, you know, it's $25, not too bad. And if you're into Transformers 1 stuff, this is, I think this is a pretty solid buy, but, you know, it's not the best one. I don't think it's the best overall, but, you know, I think it's good enough that I think unless you're really nitpicky, so it's pretty decent. It does have its flaws, but, you know, at least one of those flaws, namely the face, is pretty easy to fix with a replacement head. And well, unfortunately, the articulation flaws, you're not really going to do much, but yeah, I just think it's pretty good. It's kind of it's better than some of the other Transformers 1 toys you've gotten, but not as good as some of the best ones. So, there's not a huge sample size, at least regards to Studio Series Transformers 1. So, yeah, still waiting on Elita 1, so we'll see how that goes. Because that would also mean rounding out the complete, I guess, heroes. So, there's that. So that's it for this review. I hope you found it informative and entertaining. Hope you like, comment, subscribe. Check out my social media. It's down in the description and at the end of the video. Check out my Coffee Mate Patreon. I shall see you next time with another video review.